Okay, so it looks like the stream works. The title is set correctly. Okay. And I'll be doing some Antikythera death. I think I'm gonna do. So first, one thing I would want to look at is the memory arena stuff. Basically, what I'm looking for is like a way of saying last high pause, right? I don't even know if I need to store this as a field. Basically, I don't want it to decommit memory. If it's like I want a heuristic that will not decommit memory too quickly. I also think I want to make the memory arena a bit smaller than 1 MB by default. I say kilobytes, 64 kilobytes maybe. I think the page size is 4 kilobytes, right? Yeah, there's a function for fetching down a bit. I was wondering if there's like a CMD line I can use. Anyways, will be the first change. And the other one is when we clear. I'm thinking of is maybe doing. Okay, so this would be the current high pass, right? I feel like doing that. Okay, so I'll just. Actually, maybe. I'm so confused to what I actually want to make here. It's unsure. But I think I would just take the high pass, that way. That basically means that if we use the comment like the comment block this time, then that means we probably want to use it the next time, so we'll keep it. I think that's fine. Although, yeah, I think this still helps because technically, Like, this is not equivalent to commit pause, because commit pause can increase, then we can clear to that pause, but a commit pause will stay. So now let's say the first iteration says we unlocked, I don't know, 32 KB. So we committed 64 KB, right? And then the second time we unlocked, well, I don't know, 96 KB, committed, rather maybe let's swap them. The second one would have committed, rather started with, I started with 0 KB since it's first, and then committed, started 0 KB, and total is 128 KB, right? And now this time we started with, 0 and 128, which is the last thing, right? So then we had to, the total was here, this, right? But then the third iteration, we say we allocate whatever KB, we don't really care. But we start at 64 KB, since this is the last high pause. So basically we'll start at the last high pause, which is like basically the commit pause, like the optimal commit pause for the current pause. So that should minimize the amount of decommission, but also should minimize the amount of memory used. So I think this heuristic works pretty well. And honestly, I feel like this should be reset arena, not clear arena, because clear implies that you're going to 0, and this is a reset function. And when you want to actually free, that's when we call this. Yeah, I like this. I think this is good behavior now. And I think if the block size is big enough, that probably doesn't mean too much. Commission, decommission. Like when you have some unexpected growth of the or shrinking of the memory usage in an arena, that's when we would see commissions and decommissions. But when we see a predictable pattern where it's like using the somewhat the same memory counts, that's when it would behave without commission decommission, unless we were on a boundary. That's kind of unlucky. Can't really help that. But it's not that common, ideally. Okay. I think that works. I was thinking I will probably do those native functions here today. And those first three are trivial. I think we'll do them, but the next two, they require some more design. Architectural one. So I'll have to think on those. We'll really have to reflect. Actually, one thing I will do first is adding arrow operator, because I forgot. This language is obviously mimicking JI syntax, right? It is one of the best ones I've ever experienced. But also has some own niceties about it, of course. But I think the arrow, like I'm maybe not a big fan of the arrow, but I think for the sake of consistency, I will say square is a function. It takes two floats and returns a flown. And it returns, actually it takes one flown, incorrect. And it returns A times A. Now I'll just say, oh, this is not my test code, so that's incorrect. To move it here. So I'm looking for a square, actually move it here maybe. I'm curious if I should support like generics or something. That's kind of ambitious, but for the language, if I said this and then return to this, right? Could be useful for when we want to support an end. I wouldn't also wouldn't be that hard to implement. So I'll probably do that at some point. I think would be cool. I think would be great. Okay. Anyways, now in this case, this should not compile yet. I'll make sure there's no other thing. Okay. Actually, before there are a few things I kind of would want to make. Well, late binding instead of scopes would be nice for constants, but that is a lot of work, so not gonna bother now. Don't think. Uh, I was thinking maybe I should refactor. So one thing I could do, but I probably shouldn't. At least shouldn't do it yet. Is refactoring the lexer so it doesn't. So basically, getting rid of. I have some weird thing that I use for parsing. Yeah, so for parser, I have this thing. It's actually a static thing. Yeah, store state. This is awful. I want to get rid of it. And the way I would get rid of it is by allowing token look ahead in the lexer. And I saw how Jblo did it in his lexer. And it's pretty cool. He basically has like an array of up to 8 tokens. He said that's not necessary because he only looks up to 3. Of course, 3. And basically the lexer is allowed to pick ahead. But it would store it, so it would not parse the text many times. It would just yeah, of course it's free. So I could do that. I'll do the arrow operator quickly. It's really useful. Would it be useful to match the syntax? Close bracket, arrow. Okay. Okay. Relaxer. It is actually wise to do that today because in the AI work I have to do anyways, although do I need to design it first? So I feel like the native functions, those 3 native functions we could do today. There's actually something I would probably want to do for this one is like consider to do consider making make return a request which would be a pointer to the AI request which would allow for wait until the request is done. For something like wait until request is done. Which would internally be a pointer to the AI request, which would allow for something like wait until request is done, right? Yeah, I think that would be useful eventually. I was thinking how is this train time thing? This is weak. This is a weak approach because you technically don't. You aren't guaranteed that the AI will make the unit the frame you request done. That's actually even rare. It's not common for that to happen. So instead, you would want to wait for the request completion, and how AI script in Broodware did it is it was very naive. It just checked for the count of the unit on the map instead of checking if that specific request has completed. So there's a workaround we may not want to rely on. I mean, another thing is or we could also just make a looking version of make, and wait. I don't know. It's probably fine. Yeah, I don't really see a problem with that, to be honest. But, honestly, even better if that was an optional argument. That way we could write, say, that way we could write make one unit ID. Also, this potentially might be multiple requests, so I have to be wary. Terran Maverick. Priority, I don't know, high. And we'll say wait equals true. So I would want those accessors here. So I would want the default args to be only accessed by accessors like this. Yeah, I feel like that's powerful for what we need. Yeah. I honestly feel like the last one's the best because the first one, it's complicated but not powerful, really. So there's not really a payoff from complicating. So I actually feel like this is. When we rewrite this, we should have a make and wait function, and even better if make itself had an optional argument for fucking wait. I mean, actually, I'm kind of wrong about it not being powerful. Could also consider making make return a request, which would internally be a pointer to AI request. Underlying a request. This would allow for flow based on the status of the request. And yeah, the catch with this is it has to be a pointer, because if it's a value, then we get the status at the time of calling the function. But what we want is the status of the request at the moment we access the request, right? So, and also there's this problem. Not sure how I'm gonna do it, because without garbage collection in the language, I probably will need to have like a reference system for the request or something. And I'm not actually thinking of ref counting for keeping the request allocating, just having like a versioned, instead of pointers you would have like versioned. I think it's called, actually the term for it is generational referencing, and that's basically what I do for entities already. So it keeps track of what index the request was, so basically the space in memory, address of memory, some way of accessing it. And the other thing it keeps track of is the generation of that field, of that thing, that object or whatever. And if that generation was superseded by another object, that means that object was deallocated or like whatever, released. Which would mean that that request was already removed from memory, which I guess that's kind of how it would work for completed requests. Yeah. I'll have to think about that. Okay. Let's finally add the arrow operator, because it would be useful. I honestly feel like I'm gonna do the look ahead for Lexer. I kinda in the headspace for that. So now, not function call, actually declare function. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, here is if Lexer accept token parser Lexer lex token type arrow. This is all I really need. To do. Okay. And now I need to make Lexer be able to read the arrow. It shouldn't be very difficult. And we'll just say this. Yeah, this is an arrow. Rain. Yeah, we have those errors from yesterday. So since yesterday was a mute stream, I didn't explain what I did really, but I added coloring, I added multi-line stuff. It's very readable, the errors now, I think. And they highlight what is actually the problem. It's not gonna always work right now because I don't combine all the tokens. That's kinda... It's not supported by the current architecture. Like, it's not an implicit property of the current architecture, I should say, and ensuring that it works for every token kinda makes the code bad. Not kinda. It makes it bad, really ugly, really unworkable, and also very non-robust. And the goal is to make robust code that doesn't rot. Uh, so I need to think about how to make it work at some point, right? It would be useful to have that, make it like an implicit property of the architecture, make like when I read expressions or something. It's basically because when I compose stuff of tokens, it's like I would want to like recursively add all the tokens. The thing it's kind of difficult to do that without like some kind of meta programming. And with it actually being robust. So I'll have to think about that. It's not the most important thing. Uh but yeah, I would want the red coloring to like encompass the whole thing and not just like a fragment of it, which currently like for many cases will only color like a fragment, like the first token or something of the actual erroneous core code. So would rather have something better, but okay. So we should have arrow. Yeah, it works. It's fine. Actually, I kind of like the arrow. It's I said I didn't, but what I don't like about it is typing it. But what I like about it is how it looks. It's very obvious that this is the return here. And when I did this, it was a bit out. It felt out of place. Like, um, don't really explain it any other way, but yeah, feel right. Okay, let's do the look ahead. And I kind of already have that. So basically, instead of doing current or next, we would say tokens. On the floor. This is basically how that was done. I guess token cursor is one I also need. Peak tokens would be the look ahead, what I'm looking for, which is what I'm looking for. Right? And now while the Lexer incoming tokens is smaller than the look ahead, smaller or equal actually. That's when I do Lexer next token, right? Lexer. This actually needs to be a queue, not a stack. Pretty sure that's why I needed the cursor. Actually, this should be called max look ahead. I think that's more appropriate, more readable, more immediately accurate. Actually, that's kind of wrong because the max look ahead in this context is free. So maybe even more accurate is Lexer look ahead capacity, because capacity usually implies that we are thinking 0 based and not 1 based, while max usually would think of the value as an absolute value. Or rather, arbitrary value is probably the way to put it. Okay. That's a joke. No way. Dude, that's worse than Brood War. And Brood War is not that well optimized. And single threaded. Dude, it's single threaded. Stormgate's multi threaded. And Brood War also uses like linked list a lot, although that would be as bad, but I feel like 5k is manageable. Just have to be careful of taking some decisions. It's just it's not free, I can say for sure. Okay. I feel like the token cursor should be the read cursor, and here we would just say of course we would say this, right? Oh yeah, that actually makes it always be. No, not really. Yeah, okay. Coming tokens. And here, if there are no incoming tokens, that's when we just say actually, what I could just say is this, and otherwise, it's gonna need. So I can't just say that. And in this case, actually, we want to say incoming tokens minus equals 1. And the cursor is plus equal is actually... There's way too much modulo in this. I have to think about that. Oh, token cursor is what I'm looking for. This is the solution to all my problems. Or rather, did I write this correct? Okay, so this is a useless line. This is what I was thinking of, actually. Let's say this. I actually installed Milton, so I don't have to use Pine anymore. That's neat. I kind of want those to go away. Can I find you? Oh, it's just using tab. Okay. And I need wine. Can I set default color to wine? Don't know. But it defaults to black, which is stupid. Anyways, so how this works is that we have a buffer that is like size 4, let's say, right? And now we have cursor, and we have the incoming size, and we'll just use symbols to describe that. And the cursor is just the first actual token, right? And the incoming tokens variable is how many have we already parsed, right? How many have we like pre-lexed or something, whatever the term you want to say, right? So if you look ahead, and you want to look ahead twice, so instead of the current you go twice, right? We just store those results here, right? And we return this in the pick function. But then when we just want to grab the next token, we go from cursor, we get this. And this is cursor plus 0, this is cursor plus 2, right? But then when we peak, that's when we move the cursor here. This technically doesn't have to be cleared in memory, but we move the cursor from here to here, right? And then we decrease this by 1. And that's basically is how this queue works. I think this is all, actually. Yeah. Although it uses modulo 3 times, which is really bad. Modulo is slow. I could just make this the Alexa look ahead mask. And make it the cap -1, since we know this is a power of 2, right? Let's say must be a power of 2. Good then. And then we would modulo by, or rather we would binary end this with the instead of modulo, basically, right? From what I remember, Jablo was able to do that without any modulo. I think he's an if statement. I don't know if that's faster. But whatever, let's not worry about that. I actually don't know what to do about the current. It's like an easy clear. I don't know. This is actually the program the case uses. I don't remember. I think it is. But he used two similar ones. So maybe this is the first one he used. Remember it being better. Anyways, what I'm thinking right now. So basically, previously we kept track of 3 tokens, and it would be the next token, the current token, and the previous token, right? Previous. And how would I translate those 3 to what I'm currently doing is unclear to me. That's what I'm trying to think about. I think this is look ahead of -1. This is look ahead, and so rather this is -1, this is 0, and this is 1. I'm pretty sure, like, that is my intuition. I have to look up the count to determine that, though. Not fully sure. Yeah, so current is look ahead 0. So I guess what I could do is say Lex token, pref token. Do I even use that? I don't use that. Okay. So basically the way I would do this is say Lexer peak token. Oh. Wait, what? Oh. Yeah. I was confused why the Lexer isn't here as a variable, but the reason obviously is that the Lexer is just a member of Logger. This needs to be like that. I actually don't know if this is valid. Unclear to me what the C++ specification for this is, since you're taking, normally this takes an address of a value of the stack, but since this is directly in the param, it's unclear to me. This is not like some weird undefined behavior thing. Hopefully not. Corin's actually. Okay, I may have been wrong. Because current, I think, is the one that we just returned. Right? So accept token peaks the token, and peak token checks the next token. Yeah, so this is just confusing convention, but this basically should be named current. This should be named prev. So basically, what I had, yeah, this is what I thought may have been true. So actually, I had this, but I would have been expecting this, right? And this is just the structure of the code that was designed like that. Those names felt more appropriate at the time, so and I just wasn't sure. What is the dynamic? Anyways, so basically, what this tells me is that flex token current is something that we'll keep here. And basically, anytime we actually just do this, since this is probably more readable. We have two different cases, but the result is always the Lexer current. Very much readable that way. Okay. And now that means the log, what I did in the log can be removed. I feel like doing the peak thing, right? When we have peak token, I feel like the look ahead should be set to 0 by default. That simplifies a lot. Oh, that was the last occurrence. Okay. So in the case of this, we would just say Lexer, peak token. Okay. Yeah, and that's it, actually. I just need to use the address of operator. And now what is the next step? The next step is removing the store state, staff store state. That's actually fairly problematic. Oh, I see. So I would pick the token instead of popping it. Would not store the state here. And now I would pop the token. What did this actually? So now if result is present, that's when we say Xer pop token. Xer. Oh, I can't do that. It's fine. I'll just add it everywhere. It's probably fine. Maybe not a big fan of just having to say that every time, right? But Not a big deal, to be honest. Maybe that even means that we just remove this picking here and we just say, oh, we want to pick it for reading the type and then only, yeah, that actually makes a lot of control flow, like logical sense. We first need to pick the token to check what its type, and if it's one of the correct types is when we actually accept the token, so we pop it. And yeah, I think I like that architecturally. And now what is the other thing? So we have two more places where this happens. Yeah, so this read identifier statement is thing we're looking for. To know how useful this is outside of this, but honestly, the way to fix this non-reserved identifier is just by making the lexer more sensible, because this is fucking stupid. What I will say here is say reserved. Say keywords like for, if else, for. Okay. Actually, we'll just say this. Keyword, maybe. And now, when we usually do identifiers, is where I would say is reserved keyword, right? The string would be the next at, right? And if so, that's when we say next type equals next token type keyword. And what I could have done is make an enum type for each kind of keyword, and that's probably what I should have done, but not gonna worry about that. Next token. This probably should call this parse next token. Parse next token. And this is not meant to be like a public function at all. Static assertion failed. Yes. Keyword. Okay. And now some of the utility things, what I need to do here. So expect non-reserved identifier. This can just be removed. Since we can just now expect the token or accept a token of kind identifier. Now accept keyword. This needs to check keyword instead. Yeah, honestly, makes it so much easier. I would say identifier, right? Identifiers are supposed to identify things. They're not supposed to also be keywords. Lexer is meant to make stuff convenient for us, not more complicated. So that's why this change is a good change. And now after I do this, before I do more changes, it's important to test if we at least seem to be correct. And it should actually be accept token. Should actually be expect token. Like this. Accept token. Okay. So now, what we need to say here. Actually, yeah, let's do what I promised. And look at errors. Unexpected token. Nice fucking line number, honestly. That is a big problem. Something I didn't think about yesterday. So when we have U32 right, you'll say this thing does it, right? Fixes it. Question mark. I see that all my line numbering is actually off by 1. To say done. Apparently. Also, one thing that you can see is wrong with this is that I cut all the white space, right? And what I should do instead is cut a common amount of white space. Yeah, this is one way to do it, but then you have accessing scoping on everything. Maybe that's the way to do it anyways, though. Sure, but one thing I really want to say is if C equals a tabulator, we'll actually instead put 4 spaces because I really dislike the fact that we're having so much indentation. It's very much excessive, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't think this looks bad. Actually, kind of more readable when you see multiple errors. But if we decided that, like, here, like, we see that minimum white space is this, we just remove it from every line, and we are just the same baseline. Could work. It's a bit more work. The most important kind of work, so it's I'll try to avoid this kind of busy work for now. Not that important. Okay, the store state thing is what I want to get rid of. It's awful. So basically, oh, also, right, I forgot that we are completely broken. Right. Expected token, my global. Does that work? Yeah, seems like so. And I feel like this red-white thing is hard to read. Not sure. How does JI do this? JI has so many smart decisions. Oh, I see. So actually, that's kind of smart. What it does is it uses aqua instead of wine. Like that idea. It's less jarring. Yeah, that's not the aqua they had. They had dark aqua. No, that's not it either. Then they use. This is what they used. Oh, this is actually aqua. I think. Dr. Aqua, by the way. The font here and there is so much different. It's a bit more readable without those serifs, honestly. Sure. Also more readable with aqua, I think. Or is it? I don't know. Maybe using like the line or something would help. Oh no. No, it's very attention grabbing. Let's use Aqua for now, I guess. Yeah, let's just return every token that has ever popped. Right. This is neat. Keyword int integer multiply unexpected token identifier. Yeah, but why? What issue do we get? Expected token. Is this line? Actually, parser, elixir, correct. Read primary is probably what I'm thinking of. Jesus, Kairos, error. I really hate this fucking logger thing. Um, should go ahead. Honestly, you can just go through this. Read identifier, source state. Oh. What is our token type? Oh, I know what it is. I think. It's because when we init Elixir, it's when it pops a token. No longer needed. Great. So when we accept an arrow, is that the problem that we accept an arrow? Right, because we want to accept an arrow. What happens then? The token. So let's see, parser, Elixir tokens, parser, Elixir cursor. Actually, that would be token cursor. And it is an open brace. Okay. Let's retype something I'm doing wrong. This really should be to move to Elixir. To move to Elixir and make them all their own token type. Yeah, sure. Unexpected token. It's very much interesting. So I think this is when it would have. Oh. Actually, it already happened. Okay, so this is token keyword. I see. Okay. does make a lot of sense. Dude, that simplifies so much. Okay. Should be their own cases too. It's pretty clear by this code. Unexpected keyword. Okay. Yeah, it works great. Okay. Now I just need to do store state here. I think, and related to this, I think I'm gonna juggle Carvers and nav mesh because nav mesh is so complicated that I need to just grab some free time and study it some more. And I don't think it would be a good use of stream time to study it on stream. Although, obviously, prototyping on stream is useful, but researching would be better done outside of stream. Like, the most progress I was able to do on NavManage was outside of the stream anyways. But, yeah. Okay. There we have store stats. What do I even want to say? Lecture peak token. She'll say this lecture peak token parser. Oh yeah, this I shouldn't be doing this here, I don't think. What I should be doing is doing it here. Say this. I feel like colon should be its own thing, honestly. Let's keep the rule of thumb that when we can make something in the parser easier by doing some change in the lecture, we should generally choose that option. Yeah, I'm aware that what I'm doing right now will make it so I have to also. I've lost my train of thought as I was trying to make this happen. Oh yeah, I'm aware. I know what I was aware of, and it was that I have to add those names here. Okay. Okay. In the case of colon, okay, so this is what I would do for just colon, right? Say elixir, pop token, said twice. As we can factor to some other method that pops multiple tokens, I think. Or maybe we just add a count variable, so we'll say like comma 2, and 1 would be the default, right? Actually, one thing I kind of want to change is making this pref, or rather, maybe even pref token. We'll make, dude. If Visual Studio actually fucking worked, this would be an easy change to do just now, but I can't. That's really annoying. Okay. Let's just ignore that. So assign goes here, right? Grab it here. It's the last one. honestly don't think that was longer gonna be necessary. Yeah, it's always true now. Used to be for the old convoluted for loop. No, this is for colon colon. Now colon assign was voided somehow. Oh, I see. Because they used to be one thing, right? So this basically I have to kind of like have twice, right? Which is now the read value thing. Hmm. Yeah, so for colon assign we don't do the type at all. And we always read the expression, right? We just say those. Okay, yeah, that actually simplifies a lot of things. Very much simplified now. Actually, colon assign. Hmm. Only five. This is so much cleaner logic when we just explicitly state those two cases as different cases instead of having to handle them with like so many bulls and other crap. And now here. Really what I should say is switch on a sign type. Okay. It's actually somehow cleaner, even though we do have a more complicated system for picking, right? Enum declaration. So what's up with those few? Expected an enum name. Expected a close brace. This is also it also says Caro's Lexer instead of. I use Lexer logger. Where is that enum name error from? It's from here. Hmm. Interesting. expected enum name here. That's only after we accept a keyword, right? Expected a close brace after no comma. That's the more concerning one. Expected a close brace. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Because it used the manual colon method where they're split. I don't actually want you to allow you like some var and say like this. That's retarded. That's shouldn't be syntax valid. So instead, this should be the legs, right? And we did that. That's good. But generally, I remember trying that, and I thought I can make it work for some reason. This can be done here. Now, what I will say is lex token. So at this point, I know we are in constant assignment. So now what I would have to do is say lexer peak token. Actually, all I need to say is if this is here, and I return this, right? Okay. And now in function declaration, actually here, we just need to say lexer peak token. I also felt like this is kind of messy when I originally had that idea, but it's actually kind of clean. I need to stop using kinda. It's an annoying filler word. So now here there's either this is either colon or t2 type is equal to lex token type comma. Actually right now this is just colon, right? And then away we just return this. I'll flip the ordering for those because they're I want the call order to be the same as the order that they are in the file. And now, really, this I can just remove, which is really, really nice. So we expect, really. Expected open parent function declaration, right? Actually be a Kairos error. A parser logger. Expected a scope for a function declaration. And technically, we could be C++ about it and allow declaration, like the distinction between definition and declaration, but here they are always the same. They are meant to be the same thing. Expected close parent and function declaration. So here we also expect okay, I think that's done. And we have an error. Yeah, so function declarations can either... So this can be a function, so you just need to read those two tokens. Or for argument ones, where you would read something like this. So you'd read this, this, and this. And by the way, I'm pretty sure this will not collide with any read primary expression thing. Okay, works like a charm. Now the question is, my var that looks like a function, and we'll say a plus 3, right? And it does print 4, which is correct. Okay. So now this is the easy file, right? We'll just print easy. And the hard file will have an argument. Now I'm checking if the simplified parsing works. It's way better for robustness. Although, also not really, because the robustness might be a problem if the specification of the language changes, and like, if I add default args, that means I'll have to update the way I pick functions, right? If I do this, for example, it means I can no longer use those 3 tokens for identifying a function declaration. I need to use this token instead for the third one, right? That's fine though. This is all great anyways. Simplified the code a lot, which is not what I thought would happen. Okay. This is technically 31 May 2023. Right? Right. Improve arena or add arena heuristics to reduce decommission. How often it has to come decommit commit. Redundantly decommit commit. And improve lecture to add arrow up, add arrow to function declaration. Look ahead. Add proper lecture look ahead and remove parser and replace it with faster and cleaner look ahead peeking. Okay. So that's pretty accurate to what I did today. And yeah, that's it.